In today's fight news, we start off with Dustin the Diamond Poirier recently on an episode of the MMA Hour in which he discussed that he would have retired after his recent title shot at UFC 302. Poirier stated that he would have taken off the belt and his gloves and placed them in the center of the octagon. Poirier tells Ariel Helwani that he's still undecided on whether or not he will retire from the sport or keep fighting. When asked if he's leaning in one direction or the other, Poirier says he's leaning towards being done. The Diamond was asked if he's interested in doing some boxing now that he might be retired. The former interim champion says this interests him very much, but he's not sure if the UFC will let him out of his contract to do so since he still has 7 fights left. UFC Hall of Famer George St. Pierre was recently asked what his thoughts were on lightweight champion Islam Makhachev. This is what he had to say to TriStar Gym. "I think right now he's the best pound-for-pound fighter right now. Because of his last few performances, just amazing." When asked about a possible matchup between Conor McGregor and Islam Makhachev, Ali Abdelaziz, the manager of Makhachev, had this to say: "Listen, it's very possible, but you know Conor has to get off the bottle, and he has to leave the drugs alone and focus." After this weekend's UFC Louisville card, in which he made a return to the win column by knockout, former light heavyweight title contender Dominic Reyes says that he spoke with Dana White and he is now getting a performance bonus. After a controversial stoppage loss at this weekend's main event of UFC Louisville, Jared Cannonier says that he doesn't feel like he lost, he feels like it was taken from him. Cannonier states that he's spoken with the UFC brass and that they're in agreement that the stoppage was premature, and he says that he's seeking a rematch with Imavov, hoping to land on the upcoming UFC Paris event. Also on the MMA Hour, former bantamweight title challenger Marlon Chito Vera says that he was originally offered Henry Cejudo before he eventually booked a fight with Davison Figueiredo. Undisputed women's super middleweight boxing champion Savannah Marshall says that she's looking forward to a possible rematch with Clarissa Shields, this time in the PFL. She says she's confident that she would beat Shields in the cage. Ali Abdelaziz, the manager of Kayla Harrison, tells Submission Radio that Amanda Nunes left the UFC and retired because she knew Kayla Harrison was on her way to the organization. Abdelaziz says that if Nunes comes out of retirement to take on Harrison, she's going to lose and go right back into retirement. Abdelaziz mentions possible opponents for Kayla Harrison being Merab Dvalishvili or Aljamain Sterling at 135 because there are no women in her division that are willing to fight her. Boxing promoter Ben Shalom says that the rematch between Fabio Wardley and Fraser Clark could take place on the upcoming Anthony Joshua Riyadh season card on September 21st at Wembley Stadium. After this past weekend's loss to Blair Cobbs, former 4-time champion Adrian the Problem Broner said on his Instagram account that he's not going to retire and that he will be back into the ring soon. On to some updates to the UFC rankings. At middleweight, Nasruddin Imavov moves up 3 slots to the number 4 position, and his recent opponent, Jared Cannonier, falls to number 5. At light heavyweight, Dominic Reyes moves up 2 spots to the number 13 position. Lastly, it's reported that Gilbert Burns will be taking on Sean Brady for an upcoming event on September 7th. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy this content, like and subscribe.